interesting that certain times of the week seem to be associated with wanting to drink certain things, and Friday late afternoon evening is always fizz, usually English sparkling. Sunday afternoon, not really a time of the week for that kind of jubilation with the weekend behind us. So often I seem to want a gin and tonic on a Sunday afternoon. I don't know why that is, but very rarely get around to actually buying any tonic. So instead I went and raided the cellar before I headed out to the heath, and I have some 2017 Gevrey Chambertin from a producer called Jane Eyre, confusingly like the novel title. I have not had anything from this producer before, and I've got a feeling it's got a little bit of a sort of new world kind of Californian kind of winemaking style slant to it. I think I remember reading somewhere, so I'm guessing this is not going to be my cup of tea, but you know, don't judge a book by its cover and all that. I should try and give it a fair trial. Quite a muggy sort of an afternoon. Was looking at the clouds, kind of hoping for rain, because that tends to clear the heath a bit and give me a bit more space to myself. And I, of course, am armed with tarps and such like, so I can weather all manner of conditions that would put off the less determined folk one might encounter on the heath. But, the weather forecast said the likelihood of rain is pretty slim, sort of 5–10%, so maybe rather false hope. It's a bright, fresh sort of a nose. Very fresh, actually, for a 2017 particularly. Cherry, possibly hinted cranberry. Yeah, really fresh, really light. That's nice, actually. Good start. Remains fairly light and cheery on the palate. Good acidity, bright. I somehow suspected this was going to end up quite oaky. Perhaps I read the wrong. I don't know. I've got a feeling I read somewhere that this producer had some New World influence, and you know, those Californian Pinot Noirs can often be over oaked, but it's actually quite pretty. Dainty, fruity, fresh. A lot of the things I like. So yes, don't judge a book by its cover. Jane Eyre, Gevrey Chambertin 2017, pretty nice. I've gone and checked my facts, and it wasn't in fact a Californian New World influence on this wine. The winemaker at Jane Eyre, who is in fact called Jane Eyre Renard, is from Melbourne originally, so there's a sort of Australian winemaking hint to this, or I don't know, somebody from Australia. Their philosophy of winemaking could be entirely Burgundian. I think they've apparently been there about 20 years. One thing I remember, a year or two ago, a friend of mine who coincidentally is from Melbourne did a how he described Burgundy versus Bogandy wine tasting, which was Australian Pinot Noirs versus Burgundy, and it seemed perhaps that was just biased by the particular wines we were trying on that occasion, but it seems like the fruit character of a lot of that batch of Australian Pinot Noirs was a lot more sort of blackcurranty rather than cherry, the kind of the core primary fruit character, which was interesting. And I don't know if that's a consistent theme. I'm not at all knowledgeable about Australian wines. I have very blinkered vision when it comes to wine. I'd rather just drink close to home, i.e. Burgundy and English sparkling. But yes, I don't think this expresses itself in a blackcurranty way, but of course, you know, the terroir is completely different. It's a different part of the world, and Jane Eyre Renard is undoubtedly trying to somehow express the character of Gevrey Chambertin, I don't think there's any, to my ignorant palate slash nose, I don't think there's anything sort of wildly unusual about this, but it's nice, it's pretty, it's well made. Good stuff. Well done, Jane Eyre Renard.